I'm so ready.
We're live. Welcome to the stream. How about that countdown, Sarah?
I was like, you couldn't see me, but I was like,
You're jamming?
I was feeling it. Got some Friday feels here. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm stoked to be here in a context with everyone. I have some big goals for the next hour and a half.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Which I want to share briefly
Okay.
and give everyone a context of what we're doing here. But first of all, Sarah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hey everyone, I'm super excited to be here. I am Sarah Ray Werner. I am a writer, podcaster, and other things. I'm the creator of the audio drama Girl in Space. Oh, look, we already have some fans of our opening. Thank you, Narrative Vault. And yeah, and I'm here to drink tea and to write some flash fiction. How about you?
Great. I love that. My name's Asa Merritt. I am a former reformed screenwriter, playwright type. I wrote 6 sermons, an Audible original starring Stephanie Hsu on this YouTube channel, I'm writing fiction, which is what we're here to do today. This is day 3 of week 2 of the Speculative Fiction Circle. And on this sort of weekly operation that we've got going here, we're reading short fiction, we're reading horror stories every Thursday, science fiction stories every Wednesday rather, and then every Friday we're actually doing some writing. The past few weeks we've done flash fiction. I'm going to share some opportunities for that. And yeah, today I want to loosen it up a little bit. We talked about that, but just Sarah, what are some of your goals here for the next hour?
Honestly, my goal here for the next hour is just to get words on the page. I'm not good with goals. Maybe we can talk about this in a larger discussion at some point. But whenever I have a goal, I like stomp myself out of it. I'm not good at goals. So if I just say I want to get some words on the page, if I set that intention, that I will do. So, and I won't get like in my head about it. But how about you?
Yes. So I want to continue working on the story that we started last week. So if you weren't here last week, I'm going to pull this up. We did a whoops, stand by. Last week, we submitted or we started drafts for this particular publication, Orion's Belt. Orion's Belt now has an open call and sub 1,200 words. It's a 1,200 word count. And so last week, if you weren't here, we were reading in the Sci-Fi Story Club about an impact story by H.G. Wells. I personally was inspired to take a pass at an impact story. So that's what I was working on last week, but I haven't worked on it since then. So I have my first draft from last week. Good news is I've sat on it for a week, coming back fresh. That's what I'm going to be working on. I also wanted to share, while we're here, another opportunity that I tracked down this morning for everyone else. So by the way, Orion's Belt, if you weren't here last week, this is a cool pro market, which means 8 cents a word, speculative fiction publication. They now are open for submissions. So you can check that out and encourage you to take a crack at that today. Just to be clear, we're here to write together. You can work on whatever you want, or you can just hang out. This is a low pressure space, but we do like to share these opportunities. Additionally, a lot of conversation is happening at our Discord. This is sort of early in this movement, so I'd like to talk about it. For anyone who's new, we have a Discord going about reading horror fiction, reading science fiction, and writing it. That's in the video description. This right here is another publication opportunity that I tracked down. So I picked this one because I think it has a pretty broad mandate in terms of what it's looking for. So a lot of what we've written the last few weeks in these other workshops, Sarah, I think would apply. So you took a crack at any of the ones over the last few weeks. the horror, the sci-fi, then this particular publication might be a good fit. This is called Bog Matter. This is a new-ish publication. It's only come out once, and it seeks to publish new short fiction, poetry, and graphic shorts that could be described as science fiction, horror, fantasy, magical realism, slipstream. I just learned that term.
I don't know slipstream.
Yeah. Okay. Well, someone hopefully in the comments can give us a clean death. I'm reluctant. I have a sense. New, weird, utopian, dystopian, satirical, cross-genre, experimental, or exuding a general air of oddness. So a wide open slate here. This is a relatively new publication, which gives me somewhat sort of faith in applying is it's not their first, right? This is their second publication. And it says here that they accept maximum of 3,500 words. That said, submissions under 2,000 words are preferred and will have a higher likelihood of acceptance. So thought I'd share this. I think personally, I'm going to send my ghost story. A few weeks ago, we did ghost stories here, and I wrote one and I submitted it and it was rejected. And so now's the time to send it out again. This particular outlet pays 2 cents a word, which I think puts it in the semi-pro category. That is not a pro rate. That means if it's published there, it won't be considered for a Nebula, etc. But I like the vibe. I like the vibe of this site, and when in doubt, go with vibes, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's a minimum payment of $5, so that'll buy you like a coffee. So I mean, bonus. And then you also get 2 copies of the print issue, which you can frame in your office and just feel special.
Yes, I need that. And I saw, it looks like a really beautiful magazine. I saw some pictures up on the website of the first publication, and it looks really sharp. So love to hear what other folks are working on. Let us know. We're going to go towards Pomodoro. Last week we did 325 minutes. So I think we'll continue with that. Sarah, how does that sound to you?
I think that sounds great. I feel like that's for most writers. I know that that's a really good sweet spot for a sprint.
Great. Okay, great. So yeah, welcome everyone. I'm going to put the link to the Discord in the chat so you have it in case you're interested. And let me just pull up this the Pomodoro timer, and we can fire that up.
All right.
All right, stand by.
Yeah. And at any time, let us know here in the comments what you're working on, what your thoughts are. If you are stuck creatively, exciting, Takashi. Finished your apocalyptic sci-fi, working on another story. How are you feeling about it? I think is what I'm always curious about, because I always feel like my best stuff is the stuff that I'm most satisfied with. And it's sort of, I don't know, it ends up speaking for itself. So, yeah.
Great. Well, I hope everyone else out there is working on exciting stuff. And I'm going to start this timer.
All right. I'm here for it and excited, and just let us know when to come back.
Okay.
Awesome. And I'll go ahead and mute myself so that nobody hears me clickety-clackety scraping over here. And let's do this.
Good job. Let's take a short break.
How are we feeling?
I'm feeling great. First and foremost, if you are writing right now and are jamming and want to keep writing, then that's exactly what you should do. If there's one thing that Sarah and I share as writers on the internet, sharing things, at the end of the day, it's about writing, getting it done. So I have exciting things I can't wait to share, but if you're in the zone, stay in it. That is the priority. How'd that go for you, Sarah?
Good. I realized that 25 minutes was an excellent time. I haven't done my journaling yet today, and I'm journaling along with good, I meant to drop that. Journaling along with page after page by Heather Sellers, and today's chapter was about anxiety, which is, I feel like, applicable to most writers. So, how about yourself?
So as I also write my first drafts by hand. So what I was doing just now, and the timing worked out perfectly, is transcribing everything I wrote, which is always this kind of exciting experience where I'm discovering the story afresh. What I want to do now is I want to go back to the Star. So if you're just tuning in, Sarah and I do a sci-fi story club where we're working our way through this 1,000-page anthology of short stories, science fiction short stories on Wednesdays. This week, well, actually, no, last week. Last week, we read a story called The Star by H.G. Wells, which is credited, as you know, Sarah, for starting the impact subgenre. So where I'm at now is I want to go back to that story and see exactly how it set itself up. What I decided to do in this story, and we talked about this during the feed last time, was stick to one speculative element and then see how that plays out. Like the first time I tried it, I was like, there were Martians, there was like a zillion speculative elements. And I was like, okay, I want to narrow this to one and see the effects of it. And I think that's how it happens here. I think the only speculative element is the Star. I mean, of course, eventually he imagines the colony on Mars, but outside of that, it seems like the world that he's occupied with is ours.
Yeah.
Right.
The literal and figurative impact are both on Earth.
Yes. So that's my plan for the next session, is to kind of revisit that, see what I can kind of glean from that. I'm pretty excited. I feel pretty good about this.
Yay. I love that. I love to hear that. What do you feel best about? Like, you sound really jazzed about it.
I think I feel best about the angle I'm taking. And, we talked about this last week, the angle in this particular case being foregrounding one person's experience, a kind of surprising person. I think, so I don't know if you remember, the stories about this man, this thing is happening in space that no one's taking seriously. And this guy, who is a former physicist turned sci-fi writer type, names it as the universe's most dangerous marvel. He's like on a talk show and he just like loosely, casually says that. And all of a sudden people like get it. People are like, oh, and that's when kind of the panic and the fear break out. And so everyone turns to him for solutions. And, he gets like chased down to his home and everyone's like waiting on every word that he says to understand what's going to happen. And so I just, having reread the draft and typing it up, I'm again excited by that kind of basic. I just think that's like a really interesting problem to have and an interesting problem to solve that fits the length of short fiction.
Yeah. Essentially, he's responsible for this thing just because he noticed it and told people about it. So now he's responsible for a solution.
Yeah. Did you have any good, from what you just did? Anything that, like, how are you going to take that into the next session here?
Yeah. So the reading I did on anxiety, the exercise at the end was to write down within 3 minutes 25 things that you're scared about related to writing. And it's incredible how many things I'm terrified of. So I think I need to figure out, like, what does this mean? Like, what does it mean to be afraid of, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm neglecting my family when I'm locked in here writing, or, all of these things. And so what does that mean? What do we do about it? So I'm going to keep exploring that during our next session here.
Great. Okay. Takashi, are you in the mix? I just want a quick shout out to everyone tuning in from all corners of the world.
Yeah.
Brave souls translating their native tongues. I'm glad you're here. I really am glad you're here.
It's time to focus.
It really adds to the strength of this community. Did you hear that, Sarah?
I did. The
Okay, I don't know if
lady
I
says.
doubt everyone else did. We just gotta. It's time to focus from the Pomodoro, and lo and behold, we are back to 25. So, hi, Takashi is here. Great. All right, everyone, we're entering a new session. If you're just tuning into the stream, this is the Speculative Fiction Circle here on YouTube. We are working our way. A reading challenge Wednesdays, this science fiction anthologies. If you're a horror reader writer, on Thursdays, we are working our way through this anthology. And on Friday, we are writing speculative fiction ourselves. We've got a Discord. It's jamming. Welcome. All right, I'm going to start it up. Here.
All right, let's do it.
Yes, hang on. All right, good luck, everyone.
Good job. Let's take a short break.
That voice is kind of a lot, isn't it?
Do we want to come back or jump right back in? What sounds good?
I mean, either way. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a whole thing, and we can talk about it when we officially come back later if you want. But
Yeah, should we jump into another one?
yeah, I mean, if that sounds good to you, if
Yeah.
you're on a roll, okay.
Yeah, let's just do it. Another 25. In the meanwhile, welcome to the stream, everyone. This is Fridays. Sarah and I put in really solid writing sessions on Friday. Can go to the other angle here.
Ooh, yeah.
Wednesdays, we're reading horror stories, sci-fi stories.
I
Wednesday,
know,
we're
I get 'em
reading
mixed up
sci-fi
too.
stories. Thursday, we're reading horror stories, and Friday, we are writing speculative fiction. This is just a movement of motion to learn how to write these stories, get better at them, publish together. We are in the middle of our Friday sprints. To that end, I think everyone is moving apace in great ways right now. So I'm going to put up the timer again, and we'll enter the third session.
Wonderful. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Good job. Let's take a short break.
All right. How are folks feeling?
Welcome back, everybody. How are folks feeling? Takashi, how's it coming? By the way, Takashi says, drafting one story based on one of my fantasy worlds and blending it with the legend of the apparition of La Virgen de Guadalupe. Very cool. Very cool. I would love to hear a sentence from that story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How was that for you, Sarah?
Good. I continued my journaling exercise. I know that initially I was going to do my journaling for the first and then move on to short story writing, but I kind of got grabbed by something as I was writing down these fears and dealing with them. So I ended up putting in another 2 pages and a little bit on the next page. So I wrote a lot, not what I planned on writing today, but I wrote a lot. So
That's great.
yeah, how about you?
So I returned to The Star
Yes.
from this anthology, The Big Book of Science Fiction. And, you know, at this point, I'm just kind of wondering, and I actually also looked up how long The Star is. It's 3,700 words. You know,
Oh,
I
that's
know,
more than
right?
I thought. Yeah.
Totally. So where I'm at now is kind of recalibrating. And actually, before going back to The Star, I went to the story and kept writing and writing and writing. And all of a sudden, I'm already at 1,300 words. And all of a sudden, now I'm having this experience of kind of like, what scale of story do I have on my hands?
Yeah.
You know, which is a cool challenge. I think what I'm going to do is try to finish it, see where I'm at, and then kind of assess, does this story want to live in that standard short story space of 3,000 to 6,000 words? Or do I want to keep the goal of Orion's Belt? You know, for all of those just joining here, stand by, Sarah. We, in the past 2 weeks, brought our attention to this particular publication, Orion's Belt. They're currently open for submissions. That's what we do here on these Fridays, is share submission opportunities. And I had set out to write something for this, but now I don't know. That's where I'm at. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm really enjoying going back to the story. And kind of puzzling it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that raises an interesting question too. And that is, you know, do we write to the specifications of the contest, or do we write a whole bunch of stories and then figure out which contests they'll be or which publications they'll be a good fit for? And it can probably really go either way.
I think it should. Yeah, I think it really should. You know, it's kind of like the flash fiction opportunity can get you to the desk, get something on the page. And then, of course, if the story that unfolds wants to be something longer, follow that instinct. Takashi.
Yeah.
A beam of light flashed upon the young farmer, and the figure of a lady in cerulean emerged. Just like him, she covered her face with a mask made of 1,000 crystals.
That's awesome. That's
Yes.
very evocative. Yeah.
It sounds genuinely magical, that Takashi. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see. Anyone else out there? You know, let's see if I have anything I really, really need to share.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just excited by these like scenes that I've got going rather than any particular one sentence. You know, Sarah, like one thing I've been thinking about recently, and like I make these like weekly my life and writing YouTube videos where I talk about these like broader ideas that I'm thinking about. One thing I've been thinking about this week is kind of this idea of the tyranny of perfect sentences. In the sense that like there's so many writers that are able to do so much with one sentence versus stories that are like sort of easily, maybe not conversationally, but the sort of the sentences don't ask a ton. It's like, here's a straight, this sentence is serving a story, and I'm going to move from one sentence to the next to share this story. Whereas I think I guess that maybe gets at what it means for something to be literary, where like maybe each sentence is actually kind of trying to do something within its own, the universe of that sentence, in context of the piece as a whole.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm at right now, where I'm going with all this, is trying to liberate myself from that tyranny of perfect sentences, just forward motion, write prose, tell a
Mm.
story, and then sort of trust that over time, because some of my favorite writers do achieve that, where they do have these sentences that do ask a lot while also telling a sort of riveting tale.
Mhm.
So yeah, my point is, like, I don't know if there's any like sentences that I think especially man sharing, but I am excited by these scenes. Like, last week I had that idea of this guy bunkered up giving an address to all these people who are waiting on bated breath for his answers. This time around, the idea of a scene of him at a late night show, right? So the concept, he identifies this mass as the most dangerous marble in the universe. And so I actually wrote the scene just now of when that comes out on a late night show. So I'm excited about that.
I love
Excited
that.
about that.
Well, and I think too, a lot of those perfect sentences, that you're talking about, those literary sentences that really pack a punch. I feel like a lot of those, they don't start out that way. I feel like, in the rough draft, it's maybe like, just a quote unquote normal sentence. And then as they revise, as they edit, they're like, ooh, if I change this, then that'll add an illusion. Or if I change this, then we'll get some like assonance in there, or some foreshadowing, or what have you. So don't put too much pressure on yourself, at least in the first draft.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's wise. I saw on Instagram, Instagram, man, they really do serve you things that inspire you from time to time. And I got served one such graphic where it had like a circle that maybe a school kid would draw. And then below it was a perfect circle. And then the captions were like, something like finish it and then make it perfect, and it's like such a simple thing.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm definitely trying to do that. And these streams have helped contextualize an opportunity to finish something.
Ooh, and those are some wise words from Takashi here.
Put these up. Never fall in love with your first draft. Trust me, it can be a pain. Yeah, I think that's good advice.
Or spend too. So Takashi, I've done the same thing with larger projects that I've written. I'll write the first few chapters of something, and then I'll be like, well, I'm not ready to move forward yet. I'm just going to go ahead and polish these first chapters. And I put all of this time and energy into polishing those chapters, only to realize later down the road that those need to be cut. And so it's just, do not fall in love. Do not polish that first draft until you have a better idea of what it's going to be.
Whew. Well, great session, everyone. I'm the one always doing the spiel. What we do here every week. So Sarah, do you want to take a crack at laying out for everyone watching what we're doing here on YouTube?
I do. So you have just witnessed our Flash Friday No Regrets session, where we get together just like this in community and we write flash fiction, or at least we try to. And Asa does a great job of finding different places to submit our flash fiction, to submit our stories, whether they are contests or paying magazines. I think you've done a fantastic job of curating that. So thank you. So we do this every Friday here at noon Central / 1 p.m. Eastern / what would that be? 10 a.m. Pacific. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, so the previous 2 days of the week, Wednesday, they're not in the right order here. Wednesday, we have been reading from Jeff Vandermeer's excellent Big Book of Science Fiction, which is an anthology of, I was going to say the best science fiction. That's very relativistic. So it's very good science fiction. It's very inspirational. And then on Thursdays, we read and discuss a story from The Dark Descent, which is a horror anthology. So we have Story Club on both Wednesday for sci-fi, Thursday for horror. And really what we're trying to do with that is not even just go through and analyze the stories for your amusement and entertainment, but what we're trying to do is pick apart why these stories have endured the test of time and why they work so well. It's really all in service of essentially what we're doing here, which is getting some writing done. And I think Asa did a great job too of looking to The Star by H.G. Wells, which was one of the first stories we read in Story Club, and sort of playing with, what he took away from that for his piece of flash fiction today. So, yeah, we would love to invite you to join us. Again, we do this every Wednesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And then Flash Fiction Friday, no regrets, is our Friday endeavor. And you can join us here, yes, right here, at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. That took me, I had to do a little bit of math there, but I think that that's it. We also, just because I'm going to keep barreling on, we also have a Discord, and we would love to invite you to it. There are descriptions. If you scroll down in this video, you'll see links to our Discord where we sort of tease the next story that's coming up and start a little bit of discussion on, what did you think? What really hit you? What worked? What didn't? And what can we carry forward into our own writing to become better writers? So, yes, join us Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Join the Discord. Join us in writing. Join us in the speculative fiction circle as we wheel around and around and try to make sense of all this.
Yeah, I mean, we're so grateful for all the folks who've really already come into the current of the circle. We're only 2 weeks in, and I already genuinely feel this affecting my writing.
Yes, I do too.
The depth, the kind of scaffolding, as they say in education, building upon what we're learning, kind of coming back, going forward, deepening. I'm grateful for you, Sarah. I'm grateful for everyone in this feed. And again, to keep really on it, the Discord, that's where we sort of announce all the streams. Sarah and I each have YouTube channels. If you subscribe, that is a way to keep up with this action as well. Are there any questions? Anything else anyone would like to share in the mix?
And if you're not available with your questions right now, or if you think of something later, again, pop into the Discord and we'll have a discussion.
All right, we'll see you Wednesday. Actually, here, let's just so people know what we're reading next week. If you want to hop in for the Horror Story Club, this is Thursday, 3 EST. We are reading M.R. James, The Ash Tree. The Ash Tree by M.R. James.
And for Sci-Fi Story Club on Wednesday, we are reading Karl-Hans Strobel's The Triumph of Mechanics. So that sounds a little more dry, but hopefully it'll still be fun.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, guys.